How do, guys? We are back again. You all good, Carl?
Yeah, just me and you this week,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
well, kicking it old school. So for today, we'll start like a new series. So it's called Guilty Pleasures. So we pick a subject, like, but this is what we could do. We could play off each other. Like next week or one week, you could pick something, and then you could try and convince me. Where this week, I'm going to try and convince you it's actually good, unless we both agree. But by the way your face is going, I could tell that you're not a fan of Daredevil 2003. Look at that face.
Yeah.
Yeah, that good then, yeah. So,
Uh,
uh, so did you watch it when it came out, or did you watch it after? Or
I think I probably watched it, I don't know, 5, 6 years after it came out.
okay, so you
More
weren't
than more
like,
than likely. I can't remember that far back. I was a young kid then.
yeah.
I had shit to do.
Oh.
I
See
was
with
still in
me.
school. I think I was just finishing year 11,
Oh yeah.
2003.
See, in 2003, I was first year of sixth form or
I was
second
too
year.
busy.
Yeah,
Second year it was.
yeah, second year. So it all molds into one. So it was in media studies. You got your PCs. The website comes on, proper cheesy website, and that's when I saw the first trailer. Looks so good. The soundtrack as well. You got to think, it's got some bangers on there. So yeah, went to see it. I still enjoy it to this day. It's a guilty pleasure. That's why
No, it's terrible.
it's hey compared to some of the Marvel 2000 films, it's a masterpiece. You got to think of that and Punisher 2004. To me, those two were peak Marvel films. Granted, you had the Spider-Man films, first two X-Men films, but I mean, like you and Blades, they were good. But when you had like your random Ghost Rider films and stuff like that, or
I
Elektra.
prefer the Ghost Rider films over this.
Really? See, I love Nicolas Cage and I love the first one. Second one's just crazy for like fire piss and shit like that. But I love, I don't know, it's just something about Daredevil. And granted, yeah, Ben Affleck probably wasn't my first choice, but he played it well, you
I don't
know.
think he should have been anywhere near that film,
Well,
personally.
but this was his training to be Batman. Because how many
Um,
Batman references in the film as well? Like, because I've got some notes. There's like bats in the church. Then they mention like the shadows, where it's like 1989 Batman. Then there's the actor that's in Bat in the Sun Productions. He plays a background character, and now he plays Batman for that company. So it's just like little bits where, and also like the mask and his voice. He was training to be Batman before he even knew he was going to be
he
Batman.
wasn't trained to be Batman.
He was, but you got to think before this, like Ben Affleck to me was Kevin Smith films. He was the guy that was going to do someone very uncomfortable places, like Mallrats. So for me, or like Good Will Hunting and stuff like that, I never saw him as a superhero or an action film person. But this, in a way, helps. You can't say you can say bad things about it, which you probably will in a bit. But you know what I mean? Like to me, I'm going to try and convince you. As I said, I got my notes, 4 pages worth. So we'll see. So I'll let you get it out your system, what you didn't like about it, and then we'll work from there.
Okay. Well, I've only got a couple of notes. I'm not as in depth as you want. I've not
But
watched it in
I rewatched it last week
10 plus years at least.
just to see if it wasn't like nostalgia. Like maybe I thought wrong, and then when I watched it, I was like, no, I was actually surprised. It was even better.
Um, Obviously, it's in general, it's just a poor film overall.
Oh, okay, you're going through the big guns then.
Yeah, I think Daredevil and Elektra were miscast, and they both should have gone to someone else.
Electra, yeah. I never got like, was it Jennifer Garner? I get it
Yeah,
because she was Alias and stuff. She was on that hype, so maybe they wanted the cash on that. But yeah,
and obviously, the CGI was just too much.
yeah, we got to do 2003, and also some of the stuff they couldn't have got people to do the acrobatics that
Was they should have made it more realistic then, more down to earth, more gritty,
yeah, but then I don't know. They wanted to go for like the swashbuckler, the yellow costume, but like Daredevil.
and
I was
that
gonna
kind
say,
of played into kind of the tone of the film was just off.
yeah, I do agree with that. Where he's a bit dark and gloomy 1 minute, and then he's like, yeah,
Happy rainbows and
yeah.
sunshine.
One thing I will say that I'm not going to mention because it's going to be a big con is the playground scene. So if you take that out of the film, it's an amazing film.
See, I kind of like the action sequences in it, like
Yeah,
the playground
not
fight. It was all
not the
right.
play.
It was whimsical and fun.
I think it was a bit too much though because he's walking around his neighbourhood. So if any of those kids ran home, but oh, guess who I saw jumping around? The kids would have got a slap. You know what I mean? Oh, the blind lawyer. Okay. You know what I mean? So, but that was my only like massive down. Rewatching it, I was like, it's worse than I remember. But if you just take that bit out, or even if you cut it just before the fight, it works as a film. The director's cut's amazing as well. That's a bit more, changes everything up a bit. Can't convince you then, no.
Should have been the theatrical cut, then, shouldn't it?
Yeah, but this is the thing with director's cuts. Look at Blade Runner, there's like 4 different versions.
Look at Star Wars, they've got like 50,000 different versions.
Yeah, but it depends what. George Lucas doesn't touch it now, but it depends what mood he woke up. He goes, oh, I can really CGI a little character in the background. Does that make it perfect? Of course, George. Sit back down. So anything else on your bullet? Any other bad stuff? Then you must have some good on your bullet points.
I've got some on my list.
You got
The
some good.
supporting cast was excellent.
Oh, there you go. Well, yeah, because the guy that plays Foggy, who's now Happy Hogan, who now controls Star Wars TV.
John Farron.
Yeah, he played it well. I think he was actually again training to be Happy Hogan before he even knew he was being Happy Hogan. You know what I mean? Like they're almost similar characters in that respect.
Yeah. Colin Farrell was alright as Bullseye.
Yeah, I still don't get why they didn't have a mask or some kind of. He was a bit too chatty for my liking. I like this. Yeah.
And then Kingpin was our fucking Kingpin
Oh,
was the best part of the whole film.
That was Chef's Kiss. Yeah. Just when you introduce him, was it NERD, lap dancer? That theme. It's just like proper 2000s cheese, but you need
Michael Duncan was just top tier, man.
He was like, again, he had the look. You don't have to CGI him or anything. He was just a beast of a man.
He was like 7 foot something and like 20 odd stone. He was intimidating.
When you see the final fight, Ben Affleck's not short, but again, because you got to figure out tones, Affleck is, but like together, those two, Jesus, he was a beast of a man. So good casting. I know when it first came out, everyone was kicking off, but I don't know how else you would have done it. Like, there's no other because some people are, you could have got a guy in a suit. Granted, Colin Farrell now as Penguin in Batman, that works, but
it works now because the technology he's got and the plastic molding around the faces.
But I think 2003, it would have just looked like that scene in was it Monty Python? When the guy's eating and he's just growing, kind of like that kind of fat suit. I don't know, it just would have been like, it just wouldn't work then. So I think the casting they went for was the
podcast was great, and some of the soundtrack was all right.
Oh, all right, I still listen to it to this very day. This is the film. Without this, we wouldn't have Evanescence. Yeah.
I can take Evanescence. It's the other band I don't like.
What other band?
The one.
Oh yeah, Nickelback. Even then, like that one scene, like it even made Nickelback sound cool when there's that fight scene and it's kind of like interplaying with the silence and stuff. Yeah, but that's when Nickelback was still technically good. That's before.
Were they ever technically good?
Yeah, you kind of feel when he was like Hard Rocking Jesus. Yeah, when the first album came out, you're like, yeah, this is pretty good, and then you're like, yeah. And then Photograph came out and stuff like that. Rockstar or Superstar or whatever it was. You thought Nickelback was behind you, they'd gone, shit. But you do hear Chad Kroeger
knocking at the front door.
Yeah, Chad Kroeger's telling you off. Anything else on your list then?
That's it.
So we'll go to my pieces of paper. Stuff like we actually got a Daredevil with a double D. I love Netflix. Love Charlie Cox's Daredevil. He still hasn't got the double D. There's something about just like the logo on the chest. And I always thought like in Netflix he was working his way up, and then Sally season 3.
I don't think he kind of needs to identify who he is when kind of everyone knows.
I know, but it's just like us hardcore fans when you got the suit's almost perfect. It's just missing that. Also, if he's not like Punisher, where the last thing you see is the skull and then you're dead. With Daredevil, it's kind of like puts fear in people and stuff. So after he's hurt them, they go to prison also, and they just mention the devil with the DD. You know what I mean? It's just But to me, it's the comic logic. You've got the suit, you've got the logo. They look at it like feel like a Batman. He
Like
needed
a Batman.
he needed a symbol, didn't they? Stanley cameo was always fun. You know, before it became a thing, it was nice just to see Stanley again and go, like how it used to be. You know what I mean? Memories. Okay, you were slagging off the CGI, but I do think the radar sense was good for its time. The concept was good. Okay, maybe the way they did it wasn't, but the idea that, you know, it's blue, it's got almost like X-ray kind of thing. You can see through the floor and stuff. It's all because of the vibrations. I thought that bit was clever. Like, yeah, granted, it's aged poorly, probably aged poorly 6 months after it was made, but yeah, I still think it works. Hoobastank, halfway through the film. What's not to like about Hoobastank? Did take me out for a bit, but then he put me back in because I thought, you know what, I love the band. And I miss, in a way, 2000s where every film or comic book films, they seem to be having like mini music videos, which was always good. Training montage, cheesy but good. You know, when you see him as a little kid training and somehow he's able.
Training montage is always good.
I'm a sucker for Rocky 4, still the best Rocky. So the idea of seeing that, yeah. The detail I've shown how he deals with being blind as well. You know, like when I was younger, I didn't know that. You know, they folded. You know,
the braille.
Yeah, no, not the braille. You know, like money. Like in America, there's like a system. I think I don't know if it works in the UK as well, but it was like they fold the money, so when they go in the wallets, they know what notes which. So I
You
thought
get little clipper things now, and you can put braille indents into them.
Oh, okay.
Like
But
a little
stuff like
paper.
that, I think that's clever because again, in Netflix, yeah, it's kind of like we show how super powerful it's you can touch. But I think where they didn't want to go too super powerful, if that makes sense. Because granted, he's got like the radar sense, but he hasn't got like the touch, like, you know, Charlie Cox, Daredevil. The suit up, you know, you've got to have a cheesy suit up like Batman, you know, they're putting the suit on, you know. Sometimes I do miss a cheesy suit up with some rock music playing, you know, because like they're ready for the final battle kind of thing, you know what I mean? Daredevil using someone as a surfboard, sliding down rail of stairs. That
He's a
made
copy Legolas. You know what I mean? Same thing.
yeah, but that made me chuckle. You know what I mean? It's just yeah. Granted, 2003, which Lord of the Rings films that was the first one, or was
Return
that?
of the King.
So
The third one.
yeah, so the third one. So was the first one 2003? So
2001, 2002, 2003.
there you go. So maybe they, you know, someone on the set was like, "Well, I like that. I'll let director man and Daredevil." The only thing again, yeah, like Ben Affleck as a superhero likes to kill people too much. It's too much collateral murder for my liking as Batman as Daredevil. But at the end, he learns he's not the bad guy and he doesn't kill Kingpin. He kills pretty much everyone else. But you know what I mean? At least he's trying. A thing that annoyed me a little. Granted, I know I'm trying to like justify this film. This was almost on the level of the playground scene. Granted, everything else I can allow silly stuff, but the idea that him and people and friends can afford those apartments. When you watch the film, he's got massive apartments. He's got like a Daredevil bat cave kind of thing, and you're thinking he's only doing like he's not like a big lawyer. He's doing like, you know, where's he getting all this money from? I don't remember him having a rich parent and stuff. You know what I mean? Like Batman, it makes sense. But friends, everyone had like, except for Joey, who was a fucking film star. Everyone else was like paleontologist, a chef, worked as a waitress in a coffee shop, and look how big their apartment was.
Yeah, but if you put it together and when you live into someone, it's not that.
Yeah, but Matt's on his own, isn't he? So yeah. So everything else can allow like radiation.
Maybe you
Like
got some insurance money for going blind. You never know.
maybe, or maybe his dad had some hush money. I don't know.
From the old boxing and all that.
Yeah, you never know. Yeah, you probably found a big, you know. Also, Karen Page, how big she is in the Daredevil comics, how big she is in like Netflix. I like the way they put her as a background, like a Moneypenny character, where she's just the receptionist. They come in, talk about girls, and then she's almost like lovey-dovey eyes. Foggy knows she fancies Matt. Matt's not interested. So the idea, if they had like a series of films, they could have built up that will they, won't they, which I thought was interesting to like drop little breadcrumbs because they could have gone hard on the
They
Carapace,
knew there was never going to be a sequel.
mate. From the way they're planning lots of stuff, they're what they were thinking. Yeah. Another trope, 2000 trope, which made me giggle while watching it, is the slow music playing while they're having sex. With everything's covered. But it was the calling, like that main song they did for Daredevil. But instead of being the poppy version, it was like a slow acoustic to every stroke, and yeah, that's art.
What you play it right, yeah?
Also, The Man Without Fear, Drowning Pool, and Rob Zombie. That is a fucking tune. Stargate actors I've seen from SG1 in the films. They played Elektra's dad, and they played the first goon he killed. Two characters from Stargate. I thought, 2003 as well, still in its prime. My Immortal for the first time hearing Evanescence. That still gets me, that song. And, yeah. And the idea that you can only properly see when it's raining, she puts the umbrella down so we can't see. Oh, you're telling me that's not, doesn't get you there? No. Okay, maybe it's just me then. Bring Me Life, when they're doing when she's fighting the sandbags, that was nice again, because it was the first time we ever heard that song. And then he does his like suit up bit. Yeah, as I said, we missed the little music videos in the 2000s. I'm not saying MCU need to bring it back, because it'd be a bit random if it's halfway through Cap's throwing a shield and fucking Kings of Leon starts playing. Say again?
I think Captain America's dead, mate.
Yeah. No. He's still around. He's just old. He's still old.
To the gravestone.
Again, no body, no death. Come on. No body, no death. The fight between Bullseye and Elektra was almost taken word for word, scene from the comic books, when he throws, the magic line. That was good. I liked the juxtapose of, they could have just done an origin film. They could have just started off, but instead they started the film in the middle. You don't know you're in the middle till you get the middle, and then you're like, oh, the beginning wasn't the beginning. The beginning was the middle. That, you got to admit, that was clever storytelling. I'm winning you over. I can tell by the face.
Yeah.
I've only got like 2 more pages. Man, I'm winning you. I mentioned the Batman things. Michael Clark Duncan, we mentioned again. If we had a sequel, can you imagine him as a born again Kingpin, out for blood? Man, that would have been scary. Also, the ending, when you got like Ben's typing up and he puts at the end Matt Murdock, and you're like, oh, and he presses delete and deletes everything, and you see him at the top, and then Fuel won't back down pops on, fucking another banger tune. Mate, there's too many tunes in this film. Again, the way they ended it was perfect. Again, leave you for a bit of a sequel, as you said. That would never happen. No sequel, but it's like Green Lantern. I'm never going to get my Sinestro corpse, am I?
The best part of that was the last 30 seconds.
Well, because you knew you were going home.
No, the Sinestro bit.
Yeah. A funny, like, random thing I noticed was Bullseye. The cutscene at the end is almost the same like the Bullseye in Netflix. They're both in hospital, they're both injured, and both of them come back. So I thought that was a bit weird how, even though like Netflix Daredevil's on another level, it's gritty, as you say, realistic, like it still share some tropes of, oh, the villain's injured, you need to like just show that he's going to be back for the sequel. Again, we don't know if we're going to get him back as Daredevil in a MCU. And then just mention the Calling again, which is another tune. So mostly it's just truth.
So your favourite parts about the film are 2000 bands, some guys from Stargate, and a few Batman references.
And the suit up bit. Don't forget the suit up bit when he's like
that.
You know what? When you say like
you want it to be a Batman film?
No, I'm just saying.
You might as well watch 98 Batman. It would have been better.
Yeah, but in 2003, I didn't have a Batman film to watch, did I? I had to wait 2 more years. Yeah, but like a new one at the cinema, like 2005 Batman Begins, that's when I had 2 years
of cinema, watch Batman again.
Yeah, but go to Mr. Cinema Man and go, excuse me, I know the last good Batman film was 1992. Do you still have some reels to put in? You think my local Odeon would just look at this 16-year-old kid and go, yeah, cheers, mate.
Don't ask, you don't get. You know what I mean?
Well,
You ask those questions.
Sadly, I didn't ask, and it's not haunting me to this day. If that's what you're gonna say.
This film haunted me to this day.
No. Well, as I said, I put these photos out, and people on YouTube, people on Instagram that follow us, it was down to this, Punisher 2004, and Limp Bizkit. And Limp Bizkit and Daredevil were proper close. It's like 10%.
Do you not think that the people might be trying to troll you?
I don't care. This was what I needed. A feel-good film. With a bit of,
I gave you 10 feel-good films to watch instead of this.
Yeah, but then it wouldn't be guilty pleasures, would it? It could have been worse. I could have rewatched Green Lantern again, but that's not guilty pleasure. That's torturing myself. Or you know what I mean?
X-Men, if you wanted to torture yourself.
What, X-Men? No, but then that's not guilty pleasure. The first two X-Men masterpieces. I wouldn't say The Last Stand's a guilty pleasure because I think I watched it twice since it came out, and then Wolverine Origins. There's no pleasure in that. There's no pleasure in that. That's kind of like the only way I'll do that is if we did like a live watch along and just.
Was that the one with the montage opening with even Sabretooth?
Yeah, the best 5 minutes of the film, and at the beginning,
that was awesome.
Yeah, it starts off like, oh my god, this film's going to be amazing, and that's why I got hurt even more. How do you go from that to dumpster fire? No, that's bad to dumpster fires. I apologise.
It happens, does it?
Yeah. So so I can't convince you then. Daredevil wasn't a master. No, not one of your guilty pleasures. No,
not at all.
You don't think halfway through you think, oh, I haven't watched that for a while. That'd be a bit enjoyable to watch. No,
if it's on, I'll turn it off. I'd rather watch the blank screen.
Just stare there, but look at yourself with the dark screen.
I'd stare at myself for 2 hours. It'd be more enjoyable.
It wasn't 2 hours. It was like an hour and 45 minutes.
With the credits, you know what I mean? Round up.
Round it up. I think that was with the credits, an hour and 45. I was amazed by how fast it went. It didn't feel like, that's how fun the film was. Yeah.
Too long for my liking.
I just feel like, because I was a massive Daredevil fan, that's probably why, hence my t-shirt today. So I was, with me, growing up, the heroes I liked, they're very, like getting a film or TV show. So the idea that Daredevil, of all characters I liked, was getting a film, of course I wanted to go and support it, watch it on opening day. And have a fun part. Like, I look back, it wasn't the best film, but it has a part where, at that time, Marvel weren't willing. But it's weird because they're not like now where they're willing to take chances on talking raccoons and stuff. Back then, they were like,
but they're backed by $1 billion company. You know what I mean? They can take a chance on a raccoon.
But that's what I mean. But back then, they had Blades started it. Then they did X-Men. Then they did Spider-Man. So besides Blade, X-Men and Spider-Man, they're like massive characters. So of course they would have the film. But when you got stuff like Daredevil, not Punisher, because Punisher was still big, but you know what I mean. Daredevil, to some people's a B-lister. Like now, I think thanks to Netflix and stuff, he's raised up. Maybe to me, he's become the character he's always meant to be, like an A-lister. Yeah, not convinced. Not even Netflix version.
No, the Netflix version's really good.
Like the proper hallway scene.
Yeah, I love the Netflix, all 3 seasons of it.
Yeah, I'm just hoping the MCU version's good. Getting excited. Punisher's back as well, so that should be fun to see how that works in the new show.
And Kevin Feige we trust, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but again, it's weird when you see his name pop up as a producer, so he's always been there, guiding Marvel. So I can't convince you with this guilty pleasure then. So we'll put this one in the zero camp then.
Yeah.
But then if we can try each one, it could snowball. Because if you do one next, you could try and convince me. You know what I mean?
I'll convince you, not a problem. But you ain't gonna like my guilty pleasures at all. I can tell you that now.
Well, same with me. Did you enjoy this? No.
No, but mine are gonna be ones you've never watched.
But then I would have to go my way to maybe give it a go, and then see. That's how this guilty pleasure thing works. See if you can convince me, vice versa.
I'll never go back to Daredevil.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's a loss in my camp then, and a win in mine. But okay, so I can't convince you with that. Yeah. I think the next one's voted is Limp Bizkit. So if you want to do yours next, and then after that will be Limp Bizkit, and then we'll work on the try and do one once a month.
Next time it's just us two, I'll come up with something.
Yeah, that's what I mean. If it's just us two, we can try and convince you. It can be like a challenge. So it's like see how much if you can get a streak. See if you can be like an Undertaker. If you can get to like 10.
First to 10.
First to 10, you get a prize.
Oh, bless you.
Yeah. So that's a loss in that camp then. Darn it. I thought I had you with that, all my notes, writing down,
You could have wrote a book. You still was never gonna. I'm never going back to that film. Ben Affleck could come round with a big box of popcorn. We still ain't sitting down to watch that film.
Would you have the popcorn then?
Sorry?
Would you just take the popcorn off and close the door?
Spartacus back out the door.
Yeah, just like get out of bed. What have I told you?
Yeah, well, there's always next time, Bagger.
There's better luck next time, eh? But cheers for this then. Thank you for the trying. You took it serious. You took it better than I expected you to.
Hey, look. Notes, you know what I mean?
I know. No, yeah. Take it serious. And you weren't even going to rip into it like I was not expecting. That's why I had my notes as well. Because I was expecting.
Oh, no, it's not a DC film. I rip into DC. Star Wars.
Yeah, but my brother's not here yet, so.
Yeah,
that's when he can defend his DC.
Yeah, I think my boy's not here around.
Yeah. See, if you're talking about the comic books, I'll try and defend it. I know if you're talking about Batman films, but we can all agree Batman films, besides the newer ones, I'll say the new ones, besides Ben Affleck ones, are good. And George Clooney. But then I would never rewatch them. So look at that smile. He's got an idea in his head for one of his guilty pleasures, just to make me rewatch it, just to see Arnie go, Ice Age.
They're nice plastic nipples, you know what I mean?
Yeah, because that's what you need on your suit and your belly button showing.
Exactly.
Yeah, because that's what a guy that's grieving after his two parents declares war on criminals and everything. I know. Do you know what this suit needs? Nipples and a belly button.
If you get nipple crippled, you'll be in a disadvantage. Protecting the nip.
Or just have a suit that doesn't show the nipples. Try that.
You need room for the nipple. What if it gets cold and he gets a bit of a nipple growth?
But it's like
Batman thinks everything through.
It's yeah, I know he's got prep time, but he doesn't think about his nipples. I don't remember reading that in an issue. Nipple prep time. Oh, there was one where they showed a shadow of his Johnson, so to speak, and yeah, let's just say that's why Catwoman keeps coming back. Cool. We're digressing. Right. See you later. We'll try to get more people next week. See what theme we can. See if anyone wants to give us a theme to talk about, or get one of the guys to come up with something, make it more fair. And then maybe Dan and Steve can think of something. Which I can't we'll just say.
We got time.
Yeah, I'll chat to you, man. Look after yourself.
You too.
Bye, guys. Bye.